Will Jim react to Colleen's pass? What happened to bring a split between Judy and Bea? The new girl causes more trouble on Prisoner, Monday, 8:30. This is Star Station.
Alive and well, and waiting for a government decision on its future. Warren?
Well, public broadcasting first came out during the Labour government's media department's reign. The idea then was to open the airwaves to the public, an idea which lost ground when the department was disbanded by the Fraser government. There are two main areas still under consideration: small, low-powered, community-based stations and outfits on a larger scale like 2MBS FM in Sydney. Tonight we'll look at what makes the community broadcasting movement tick and the opposition it's likely to face as it grows stronger.
The time on Liverpool Green Valley Community Radio is 2:03.
This is a test broadcast approved by the Postal and Telecommunications Department and being conducted by the Liverpool Green Valley Community Radio Group. We are transmitting on a frequency of 93.7 megahertz with an aerial power of 15 watts from premises at 269 Big Street, Liverpool. The Liverpool Green Valley Community Radio Group is a member of the New South Wales Public Broadcasting Association.
This is Joan Killorn introducing the women's program, and what could be more appropriate to bring it in than I Am Woman with Helen Riddy.
The Green Valley Community Radio Group was formed almost 2 years ago and has just completed its fourth test transmission. It operates from the Video Access Centre in Liverpool and has some fairly sophisticated equipment, and raised something like $2,000 in the community. As well, the Australian Film Commission has just come forward with a $3,000 grant. There are more than a dozen community groups interested in this form of broadcasting, but Green Valley claims to be the first to actually test its capabilities. For the latest trial, it transmitted non-stop from 6 p.m. Friday to 10 p.m. Sunday, with programs ranging from ethnic to trucking. There was a good public response, with hundreds of calls from as far away as Paddington and Blackheath.
Come in.
The group is preparing an application for a permanent licence, even though there's still no firm government policy. The Broadcasting Tribunal has acknowledged the need for development of public broadcasting, and there is room for it under the existing Broadcasting and Television Act.
Scotty, you there? Drew, you there?
The Green Valley Group says it could set up a permanent station for around $15,000 and broadcast 8 hours a day on an annual budget of $25,000. Supporters say interest and support if a licence was granted, but when that stage is reached, there's certain to be a battle with commercial interests who are under the idea, no matter how well-meaning the philosophy behind it is.
Well, the philosophy behind any community radio station of the sort that we're envisaging is a local station to serve a specified community area. So it's a news outlet and it's a news gathering centre, it's an information centre for people of the area that the community has a certain integrated interest because everybody lives in the one area and it has problems and attitudes that are peculiar to that area because of its location, and the station is meant to serve those people in that area. And that's probably the basic community idea behind small community stations. It's not the idea behind stations that are meant to be citywide, but the idea behind ours is to provide news, entertainment, information and information exchange in this Liverpool area.
One of the big problems in Liverpool we've found with a lot of groups is lack of publicity. You find you set up these little groups, you're trying to get people to join them, you're trying to get funding for them. You've virtually got no way of promoting yourselves. If you're not a big body, you just don't have a say. You get lost in the crowd, and lots of groups sort of wilt and die on the vine, as it is, through lack of publicity. And I see that the radio is the answer to this.
Could you see political organisations trying to manipulate community stations?
I very well think they would try, but I don't think that they'd have much chance because, as I say, they've got access to other ways of publicising and getting promotion. And I think that anybody that's organising these community radio groups would look to see that they're kept for community type people.
We don't want to become involved in advertising if we can help it. It may be that we will have to take ads from local businessmen. We don't necessarily want to do that. We would expect that community groups, such as service clubs and other community groups that do in one way or another raise their own money, would pay to use the station services. We're looking at figures for those costs of something like $10, $12, $15 an hour, which is, you know, pretty small potatoes.
In the meantime, the big potatoes, the commercials, are treating their community cousins with a certain amount of condescension. While the projects remain little more than expensive hobbies, they pose no real threat. However, the commercial broadcasters are keeping their eyes, ears and options open.
I suppose if they were scattered all over the place and they were all getting a reasonable share of listening, it would obviously affect the interests of the big commercial stations. It would be an eroding process. It seems to me very unlikely, of course, that that's what would happen, because it's extremely expensive to run a good radio station. If I could just give you an analogy, I would think to run a Sydney station today would cost nothing less than $2 million a year to run. That's a very substantial amount of money. And I think that this is the big problem that these people face. I think there has not been sufficient awareness on the part of some of the public and community broadcasters that getting a radio station established is really nothing. It's very simple and not very expensive. The real crunch is when you face the problem of keeping it going, keeping the programs coming out, maintaining quality and sustaining your enthusiasm.
Well, would you see the people who are advocating and in fact testing these community radio stations as being probably a little more than idealistic amateurs?
I think that would be true of a great many of them.
Listen to Paul Summers tomorrow morning between 6 and 9 for all the golden oldies here on Liverpool Green Valley Community Radio. Your voice in your community.
For our next record, a little bit of help from the Beatles.
What would you think if I sang out a tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? High with help from my friend. Oh, I get high with help from my friend. Yes, I get by with a little help from my friend. With a little help from my friend.
This is a test broadcast approved by the Postal and Telecommunications Department and being conducted by the Liverpool Green Valley Community Radio Group.
Tony Mestroff shot that film, Grant Loney recorded the sound, Trevor Norris mixed it, and the film editor was Alan Smith. Tomorrow night, the operations of 2MBS FM and the real battle for the FM channels.
Thank you, Warren. Right after this break, sport with Dal Miles.